Okay, one thing as I look at this, I like the font choice, but I think what's happening up here is this all bleeds together. And what I mean by that is that it's all the same color, so you lose the contrast. So where does my eye go first? It doesn't. And so it's all I look at as one thing. So I think we need to make a change here. And it's just color change, I think. You know, we want Ghostbusters to stand out. I think this is nice and green, but do we need to have everything else down here in green? So one of the things we'll take a look at here, let's see here, you got user greeting. Don't forget to put those semicolons in your CSS. Hashtag FFF, P tag, color, hashtag FFF. And then what I want to do is I want to see what it looks like. I think it's all right to do this, but I don't know if this needs to be that same font. I just think it makes it harder to read that paragraph. I think that's what's throwing it off. So you're doing the font family up here to the whole thing. So I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to put it to here and to here. I think that kind of gets a better flow for that purpose. And you know, it's definitely something that, then of course down here, I forgot about that. That was originally that style, which we can still keep. Yeah, so okay, so let's look at your code real quick for the JavaScript. Okay, no big issues here. FYI, because we're returning the functions here, you don't have to assign this to a variable. An alert, all you have to do is say get random x. So just let you know, we don't need, you know, you can actually physically call that. You mentioned something about it not. Now the one thing I noticed is it's not letting me scroll. I wonder why it's not letting me scroll down. But you mentioned, so it looks like you're talking about there are some issues with different monitors from control areas with the timer button score. I know I can use something like display flex. However, those things I tried to get them to look nice did not come out right. Well, one thing I would do is, in this regards, I would create a div tag ID equals section A, and this is going to encompass the score. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this and delete this. I'm going to make this a span tag. I'll give this ID equals timer. And the reason why is you have a block element, which is a p tag, and then you have a span tag, which is the inline element. Now, when you do something like this, then this is where we can go in, hashtag sec A, display flex, now it is going to put the timer above the button, or the timer and score above the button. So Now, when I do this, also it looks like you have div controls, hashtag timer. I'm going to go ahead and delete this right now. Now, hashtag score is given a font size of 20 pixels, so I'm going to bring that down here as well. You want to keep it consistent. Hope that's the screencast. Yeah. So now it's side by side. Now what I would do is I would go in, the score is going to be on the right, so I'll do text align right. I'll do flex 1. That'll keep the same proportion. Flex 1, text align. And by default, it should define to left, but we're going to put that in automatically. Now, as you can see here, it's side by side like this, which is not bad. Okay, now it's too close to the start button. So that's where we'll go back up. Margin bottom, 25 pixels. So I'm forcing the button down. Now, what we could do is probably switch that around. And put it after the button. And then I'm going to change this to margin top. Oops, I forgot to save. Okay, so it automatically puts it down below. Now I almost think then the start button's kind of offset here. What can I do to that start button? I think what I want to do is I want to create a div tag that's going to group the game space, and I want to move the button down so it's exactly above the game space. And then what I want to do here, you have to make sure your style sheets that you don't have anything in here that you need to adjust to the button. Then I'm going to go back into this, which you're overwriting. Actually, I'll just go back into the style sheet because I'm thinking that with the button, %. Now, if I look at it, it should look like this, but see what I want to do is try to get as close together and then right here at the edge. So let's just add another hashtag stack B. I think if we assign the width to be 700 pixels, actually, now I need to figure out. So if I go back up, down, where's the button? What did I do with it? Margin. And there's padding added somewhere. So I mean, we could experiment here and do, like, for example, margin hyphen bottom. do like negative, let's say 20px. And I could actually do the same thing over here on the right side and do, if I knew, I would have to see where the padding and margins you've added to the other sections. So see how I got closer. And I think if we do that, and then maybe we change the height of the button. And of course, the section B, margin top, 40 pixels. We're forcing it up. Well, it still hasn't done, but I definitely think if we put it, and we butt it up against the game space and put it on the right edge, I'll let you experiment with that.